Okay, we are dealing with angles in a Cartesian plane. This is still trick. This is still grade 11. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment if there's something you didn't understand or want me to re-explain. Share the videos as well. Okay, let's get straight into this. So it tells us if 5 tan theta plus 4 equals 0, and they give us a restriction, determine without the use of the calculator, but you must use a diagram, the value of the next stuff. Okay, great. So the first thing we have to do is draw our diagram. Well, maybe that's the second thing we're going to do. The first thing we're going to do is to get this to be just, let's say that over there. So we want tan to be alone. Okay. So let's say, I'm just going to rewrite what we've given there. We are given 5 tan theta plus 4 equals 0. So we need tan theta to be on its own. So the first thing we're going to do is to subtract 4 on both sides. So we will have 5 tan theta equals to negative 4, right? And then we want to get rid of this 5, so we're dividing both sides with 5, right? So nice, tan is alone, tan of theta is equal to negative 4 over 5. Okay, now it's important to know that this is negative, right? So that's the first thing. You need your trig ratio on its own. Next, we need to draw a diagram. So let's go to our cast diagram over here, CAST. Right, I think in all of the videos that I've made this weekend, we've been drawing our cast diagram. Anyway, so let's start by looking at, so there's two things we need to look at, right? So the one is going to be, we need to figure out which quadrant we are in based on the restriction and based on our trig ratio. So these are the two things that we need to look at to figure out our quadrant. Right, so if I look at 180, so let's just add these over here. We know this is 0, and this is also 360. This over here is 90. This is 180 and 270. Great. So if it says from 180 all the way to 360, 180 starts here, all the way to 360 is over there. Okay. So 180 to 360, it tells me that it's one of these two quadrants. Okay. And then the next thing we do is we look at this one over here, and we are dealing with tan. So you have tan, and you can see that tan is a negative value. So we want to see where is tan negative. Back to your Cartesian plane. Tan is negative in that quadrant and this quadrant. So our solution, our diagram has to exist in this quadrant over here. Okay, so I'm just going to redraw this Cartesian plane. And I'm going to see that I'm going to have my angle somewhere over here. Okay, there's going to be a certain x value, there's going to be a certain y value, and a certain r value. Theta, when we eventually, if we do need to find the theta, is going to be from the positive x-axis all the way to our line. That would be the theta that we want. Okay, so if we find theta some other kind of way and we end up with a negative angle, we should understand that the negative angle is going to be the one on that side, right? Just some random stuff, we might not need that. Okay, but we do need an x, a y, and a r. Something we should know. Let's put it over here. So we should know that cos, or in fact sine of our, let's say theta, cos of theta and tan of theta inside our Cartesian plane, right? So we know SOHCAHTOA tells us sine. Let's put SOHCAHTOA up here. SOHCAHTOA tells us sine is opposite over hypotenuse, right? But when you're in your Cartesian plane, what is your opposite? What's your hypotenuse? So in order to figure that out, I'm just going to draw another Cartesian plane with a triangle in my first quadrant. This length over here is obviously my x. This length over here is my y. This is my theta, and this is my r. Okay, great. So now I'm going to say opposite. So theta is here, opposite is y, and hypotenuse is r. So I should know inside a Cartesian plane, sine of theta is y over r. Cos of theta, cos is adjacent, so that's x, and hypotenuse is r. So cos of theta in my Cartesian plane is x over r, and tan of theta in my Cartesian plane, opposite, which is y, over adjacent, which is x. So these over here, exceptionally important. Either memorize them or know how to find them like I found them now. Okay, great. So when I look at this, I can see that my value on top, so this is going to be y. My value at the bottom is going to be x. Now, one of these need to be negative because it's negative. One of these need to be negative. Which one? I'm going to decide based on my quadrant over here. So if I'm on the right-hand side of this line, the right-hand side is positive x values, right? So you know that x is going to have to be positive. Okay, we are at the bottom, so you know y is going to have to be negative. So, okay, what is the x value? It's going to be a 5. How do I know this? I took this from here. My y value is going to have to be negative 4. Okay. All right. So when I saw this negative, I knew one of them had to be negative because of the quadrant. That helped me decide which one is negative. Along with these three, there's another equation which is going to be x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So here we need to find r. So we're going to go and use this formula. So let's do our substitutions over here quickly. X is our 5. That's going to get squared. Right? Put that in brackets. Plus our y, which is the minus 4. That's also going to get squared. And we need to find r squared. Okay, so that's going to be 25 plus 16 equals r squared. So r squared is equal to, that is 30, 41. Okay, and then if you want to know the r value, you're going to square root both sides. So r is the square root of 41. I'm going to leave it like that in my surd form. I think that is simple surd because I'm sure that's prime. But let's just double check on the calculator. Square root of 41. That is the simple surd. Can't simplify beyond that. So I'm going to leave that as this over here. Square root of 41. This is all of the building blocks that I need before I can even get into the question. Now I can do the question. All right, so let's go look at the question. This is the question up here. So I'm going to rewrite this over here. I'm going to say this is 2 cos. Inside there is 180 minus theta. 180 minus theta. Okay, so this is reliant on a reduction again. 180 minus puts me in the second quadrant. Cos is negative there. So this is going to be minus 2 cos of theta. This negative came from the fact that this is, cos is negative in that quadrant. Cos of theta, where am I going to find cos of theta? I need to find cos of theta from these ratios here. Cos is x over r. Our x value we said was a 5. And our r value we said was the square root of the 41. I'm just going to simplify that one step further to multiply this into that. So it's going to give me minus 10 over square root of 41. And I'm going to leave my answer like that. I'm going to go ahead and do the next one as well. So let's see the last question over there. And that is going to be sine squared 90 minus your theta. Okay, we'll do that reduction as well. Minus sine squared theta. Okay, let's see clear here. Because of the 90, so 90 minus, right? First thing, decide which quadrant. 90 minus is first quadrant. Everything's positive there. Because of the 90, sine is going to change to cos. So this is going to give me cos. It's still going to be squared of my angle minus sine squared of my angle. Then we're going to go look back at something that was here a second ago. These over here. Sine is y over r. Cos is x over r. Okay, so here cos is going to be x over r. X was 5. R was square root of 41. And all of this needs to be squared minus sine. That is going to be y over r. Y was negative 4. And r was still square root of 41. And this needs to be squared. Okay. 5 squared is 25. Square root of 41 squared is going to give you the 41. Minus 4 squared is going to give you a 16. And that's also going to give you a 41. This is going to go into our calculator. So that is going to be a 9 divided by your 41. And we will leave our answer like that. All right, so that was the first answer. And this is the second answer. Okay, spend enough time practicing your diagram, knowing how to figure out your diagram, and these over here, either memorize them, right, or in fact all 4 of them, right, either memorize them or know how to find them like we did over here. Okay, good luck in your prep. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment if there's anything that you need me to re-explain.